Well, good morning, boys and girls. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee here. Let's get started. How are you all doing? I wish that I could ask you. I wish I could talk to you. Here is my virtual hug. Miss you guys. Okay. I'm here to read some Maniac Magee, but have a couple of quick updates. One, if you're not on Remind, make sure you get on Remind. I sent out today an offer from Epic. It's awesome. It's epic. No pun intended. Call me Carl. I sent an offer from Epic. It's free. They're offering free access to the library. No credit card information has to be taken. I sent out an email to everybody today from our class. Whatever email you had in Power School is the email that I sent it to. So shoot me a message on Remind if you didn't get that offer invite from Epic, but it's basically a free library for kids at home. So check that out, okay? Please check it out because I know they can read you books. There's lots of different covers and genres and levels for kiddos. So that's an awesome opportunity. Thank you, Epic, for what you're doing for kids at home during this time. So we're going to read some Maniac Magee. Still missing you guys like crazy. Can you believe the snow we had today? Don't think it would have been enough for a snow day, but crazy. Michigan is crazy. So hope you're still staying safe. Maniac Magee, we're going to read some short chapters today. So we have something to look forward to. We ended off on chapter 26, starting on chapter 27 today, okay? The last thing we read was about Grayson. So Maniac had met this older gentleman named Grayson. Grayson kind of took him in, and he's living in the baseball equipment room right now. And Grayson kind of told him a little bit about his life. And what he used to do. He used to be a baseball player and played in the minor leagues. And so Maniac's learning a little bit more about Grayson, just as Grayson's learning more about Maniac. So chapter 27, here we go. The story he told now was not about baseball. It was about parents who were drunk a lot and always leaving him on his own. About being put in classes where they just cut paper and played games all day. About a teacher who whispered to a principal just outside the classroom door. This bunch will never learn to read a stop sign. Right then and there, as if to make the teacher right, he stopped trying. The part I didn't tell about Bluefield. I was only 15. I ran away. The kid and the old man climbed into the pickup. They made 3 stops. First, they stopped by the park office at the zoo, where Grayson told the superintendent he just wanted to work part-time for a while in the afternoons. Fine, said the superintendent, just so you don't expect to get paid full-time. Then they went to the library book sale racks and bought about 20 old picture books, such as The Story of Babar and Mike Mulligan's Steam Shovel and The Little Engine That Could. Then they went to Woolworth's for a small portable blackboard and a piece of chalk. Within 3 days, Grayson had the alphabet down pat, the shapes and sounds. Remember, Maniac's teaching him to read. After a week, he could read 10 one-syllable words, but he was reading them from memory. It took another couple weeks before he began to get the hang of sounding out words he had never seen before. The old man showed an early knack for consonants. Sometimes he got M and N mixed up, but the only one that gave him trouble day in and day out was C. It reminded him of Bronx, some cowboy dared him to ride in the Texas League days. He would saddle up that C, climb aboard, and grip the pommel for dear life, and old C, more often than not, would throw him. Whenever that happened, he'd just climb right back on and ride her some more. Pretty soon, C saw who was boss and gave up the fight. But even at their orneriest, consonants were fun. Vowels were something else. He didn't like them, and they didn't like him. There were only 5 of them, but they seemed to be everywhere. Why could you go through about 20 words without bumping into some of the shyer consonants, but it seemed as if you couldn't tiptoe past a syllable without waking up a vowel. Consonants, you knew, were pretty much where they stood, but you could never trust a vowel. To the old pitcher, they were like his own best knuckleball come back to haunt him. In, out, up, down. Not even the pitcher, much less the batter, knew which way it would break. He kept swinging and missing, but the kid was a good manager and tough. He would never let him slink back to the showers, but kept sending him back up to the plate. The kid used different words, but in his ears, the old minor leaguer heard, keep your eye on it. Hold your swing. Watch it all the way in. Don't be anxious. Make contact. And soon enough, that's what he was doing, nailing these vowels on the button, riding them from consonant to consonant, syllable to syllable, word to word. One day, the kid wrote on the blackboard, I see the ball. And the old man studied it a while and slowly, gingerly said, I see the ball. Maniac whooped. You're reading! I'm reading, yipped the old man. His smile was so wide he'd have to break it into sections to fit it through a doorway. Chapter 28. The first book Grayson read cover to cover was The Little Engine That Could. It took almost an hour and was the climax to a long evening of effort. At the end, the old man was sweating and exhausted. The kid's reaction surprised him. He didn't jump and yippee like he did after the first sentence. He just stayed in the far corner, seated on a stuffed and lumpy equipment bag. He had kept his distance all during the reading, letting Grayson know there would be no cheating and he had to do it on his own. Now that he was just staring at Grayson, a smile coming over his face. And now he was making a fist and clenching it toward Grayson, and he said, "Amen." What's that? Amen? What's that for? Who prayed? I learned it in the church I used to go to. You don't have to wait for a prayer. You just say it when somebody does something or says something you really like. He hopped off the bag and thrust both hands to the ceiling and shouted, "Amen!" And suddenly the kid was hugging him, squeezing, with a power you never suspected was in that little body. Unless you had seen him pull a baseball almost to the trees in dead center field. "Okay," said Maniac, clapping his hands. "What'll it be? I'll be the cook, whatever you want." Maniac had a toaster oven now, compliments of his whiskered friends. In fact, little by little, Grayson had bought him a lot of things. A chest of drawers for his clothes, a space heater, a 2-foot refrigerator, hundreds of paper dishes and plastic utensils, blankets, a mat to sleep on, with which the kid ignored, preferring the chest protectors. In time, the place was homier than his own room at the Y. "How about a corn muffin?" said Grayson, choosing something easy on his bad teeth and aching gums. Maniac went to the bookcase that served as a pantry. "One corn muffin coming up. Toasted? Yeah, why not? Butter? Sure, butter. Something to drink with that, sir? Nah, muffin's enough. The apple juice is excellent, sir. It was a great year for apples." Live it up, Grayson thought. "Yeah, okay, apple juice. Coming right up, sir." After the snack, the kid proved himself as good as mind reader as a cook. "Why don't you stay over the night?" he said. "It's late." When he groused about such a preposterous idea, the kid laid down the mat he had never used, bulldogged him down to it, pulled off his shoes, and draped a blanket over him. He protested. "That's supposed to be yours." The kid patted the chest protectors. I'm okay. And he knew that was the truth of it. The old man gave himself up willingly in exhaustion and drifted off like a lazy sky-high flyball. Something deep in his heart, unmeasured by his own consciousness, soared unburdened for the first time in 37 years. Since the time he had been so disgraced, he had so disgraced himself before the Mud Hen Scout and named himself thereafter a failure. The blanket was there, but it was the boy's embrace that covered and warmed him. When somebody does something you really like, "Amen," the old man whispered into the cornmeal and baseball-scented darkness. We're going to pause right there, chapter 29. We will finish up. We're going to finish up this book, guys. There's about 40-some chapters. We're getting pretty close, and the chapters are short, so maybe tomorrow I'll read a little bit more. I know I told you guys I was going to have a guest reader. As things have kind of progressed with our safety, our guest reader, we're trying to keep our social distancing. So even if they came and they were 6 feet apart from me, trying to do our best to keep people safe. So guest reader will be here when we are able to, when we don't have to practice social distancing. But our guest reader was Mrs. Bartlett, and she was so excited to say hi to you guys. She's missing you guys and the visits that she has coming into class. So excited to keep reading Maniac Magee. Keep tuning in, guys. Check out Epic Books, that offer you got today, and contact me if you didn't. Hope you guys are staying safe. Love you guys. Get outside in the snow.